Hello students, welcome to Wonder Biology. Today we are going to discuss about a very important topic, that is the structure of the cell membrane. But before that, let us see where does the cell membrane actually lie. We know that the cell is made up of three basic features, and these are the cell membrane, the cytoplasm and the nucleus. As you all know that the cell membrane is just the outermost covering of the cell. The thin line which you can see here that has been pointed with an arrow and labeled as cell membrane, which is also called as the plasma membrane. So here this outermost covering, which appears to be very thin, is actually a structure with several details. Next we have the cytoplasm, that is the liquid matrix of the cell, which appears here in yellow color and in which different organelles are floating inside. For example, we have the nucleus, we have the endoplasmic reticulum, the ribosomes, centrioles, etc. And the third basic feature of a cell is the nucleus, which is also called as the brain of the cell. So our main focus for today is the structure of the cell membrane, which appears normally as a thin outermost covering. So let us wonder what the cell membrane actually is made up of. Yes. So here we have got the cell membrane. What is the cell membrane? It is the outermost covering of the cell. What is the function of a cell membrane? It is the outermost covering which acts as a protection layer for the internal environment of the cell. The contents of one cell are protected by the help of this cell membrane, which is also called as the plasma membrane. The most important function of the cell membrane is its role in the transportation of substances or molecules across the cell. The cell membrane or the plasma membrane helps in the entry and exit of few specific substances into and outside the cell, and therefore its most important property is that it is a selectively permeable membrane. The selectively permeable membrane is named as such because it selects substances and allows only specific molecules or specific substances to move inside the cell or outside the cell. So that is why it is called as a selectively permeable membrane. Selectively means it selects some substances. Not all substances can enter or leave the cell. Permeable means it allows or it permits only specific substances. That is why the most important feature of the cell membrane is that it is a selectively permeable membrane which allows the entry and exit of only few substances into and outside the cell. So, it has got a major role in the transportation of substances or molecules across the cell. Now, let us study the structure of the cell membrane in details. There have been several models by different scientists that actually describe the structure of the cell membrane. We have the Daniel-Davidson model, the fluid mosaic model, and many more models. But the most accepted model that best describes the structure of the cell membrane is the fluid mosaic model. Just look at the name and wonder, why is it the fluid mosaic model? Before coming to the point, let me tell you that this model was proposed by two scientists, Singer and Nicholson, in the year 1972. Yes, these two scientists are credited for giving forward the fluid mosaic model, which best describes the structure of the cell membrane. So, here we have the fluid mosaic model coming with its details. So let us quickly explore what is that. Now, as you all know, as you draw the structure of a cell, it somewhat resembles like this here, a cell in fluid, right? Now imagine this thin outer covering. Just remember the definition of the cell membrane. We know that the cell membrane is the thin outer covering of the cell. Now, when you observe this thin outer covering or thin protective covering under an advanced microscope, then what is the actual magnified cell membrane looks like? Oh my god, it's quite amazing. Such a wonderful model. Now, this thin line has elaborated into such fine details as you can see here. Now, you can see here in the larger view that you have got some purple heads, right? Purple heads on the upper side and the purple heads on the lower side with tail-like structures, right? And how many layers are there of the purple heads? You can see there are 2 layers of this purple head, right? Let us explore it in more details. Now, according to the fluid mosaic model given by Singer and Nicholson, the cell membrane is primarily made up of how many components? 3 components. What are these? Number 1, phospholipids. Number 2, cholesterol. And number 3, proteins. The phospholipids, basically, that is the purple heads, are forming a bilayer. Bi means 2. So as we could see in the previous diagram that there were 2 purple head layers with their respective tails. And since there were 2 layers, that is why we can say that is forming a bilayer. So the 3 important components of the cell membrane, what is that? These are the phospholipids, the cholesterol and the proteins. Yes, here we have the simplified cell membrane structure. Now as you can see, I told you, we'll have some purple heads on the 2 sides, the upper side and the lower side. It means that these are the phospholipids layer which are arranged into 2, and that is why the phospholipids, they form a bilayer. Yes, as you can see very clearly here, the phospholipids are present on 2 sides of the membrane, the upper side and the downward side or the lower side. And therefore, the phospholipids form how many layers? They form 2 layers. Now, these phospholipids, they have got some blue colored structures, okay, which have been labeled here as proteins. Now, how many kinds of proteins are we able to see here? These 2 types of proteins are integral protein and the peripheral proteins. Now, as you can see, there are some proteins which are just embedding themselves into the phospholipid bilayer. They are getting inserted deep inside, and so such proteins are called as the intrinsic proteins or the integral proteins. While on the other hand, you can see some proteins which are simply lying on the surface of the phospholipid and not getting embedded completely. Such proteins are called as the surface proteins or the peripheral proteins, right? Also, in between these phospholipid bilayers, we can see some insertions in brown color which have been represented as cholesterol. So, the simplified cell membrane structure, you have to keep in mind that basically it has got 3 important components. Number 1, phospholipid bilayer, because it is arranged into 2 layers. Then we have got some proteins which are on the surface and some proteins which are embedding deep inside the phospholipid bilayer. And these 2 proteins are the peripheral proteins or the surface proteins, and the ones which are embedding inside the phospholipid bilayer, these are called as the integral proteins. Also, we have got the cholesterol which you can see here. So, let us move forward and look into the detailed structure, the actual structure, what will the cell membrane look like. Again, we can memorize or we can just have a review that the cell membrane is actually made up of 2 layers of phospholipid called as phospholipid bilayer. Then we have got certain proteins which are located just on the surface of phospholipids here, as you can see, and these are called as the peripheral proteins. Moreover, there are some proteins which are getting embedded or inserted deep inside the phospholipid layer, and they are called as the integral proteins. We also have some structures which are embedded inside, and these are nothing but cholesterol. You know cholesterol? What is cholesterol? You might have heard that cholesterol is related to food habits, right? Sometimes we say, like our parents have a bad cholesterol, he's having a bad cholesterol. So cholesterol is what? It is also an important component of the cell membrane, and remember that each of these components are here to perform some important functions, right? So also you can see that there are some carbohydrates which are attached on the surfaces of proteins and the phospholipids, right? So now we can discover that the cell membrane is having at least 3 to 4 major components. These are phospholipids, these are proteins, cholesterol and the carbohydrates. Now let us look at the structure of a phospholipid. What does a phospholipid actually look like? The phospholipids are made up of two things. It comprises of a head and two tails. As you can see here in the structure, the phospholipid has got a head and it has got two tails. Now, there are certain terms written over here. These two terms are hydrophilic and hydrophobic. Do you know what is the meaning of hydro? Hydro means water and phil means love. Hydrophobic, hydro means water and phobia means fear of something. Now the phospholipid bilayers are arranged and they have got a head that is hydrophilic in nature, means it is water loving, and the two tails, as you can see here on the screen, they are hydrophobic in nature, means they just want to rush away from water, they fear water. So what is the significance of the hydrophilic head and hydrophobic tail? Now, we know that most of the life processes are carried out in water medium, and our body also consists of 70 to 75% of water. Now, as you know that the cell membranes are actually exposed to what? Exposed to the water medium. So, always the heads of the phospholipid, they will point towards water because they are water loving. But you will notice that in the structure of the cell membrane, what happens? The tails are always away from the water medium and they are inserted towards the inner side, embedded inside. The two heads are towards the water, that is why they are called as hydrophilic molecules, okay? Hydrophilic head, and the two tails, since they are just fearing water and they are away from water, that is why they are called as hydrophobic in nature. So, hydrophilic means water loving and hydrophobic means water fearing, right? So, let us have these points into our minds. The phospholipids in the structure of a cell membrane always arrange themselves into two layers, and that is why they are said to have a bilayer. Now, the heads remain exposed to the outside while the tails are embedded inwards. Why? Because the tails are hydrophobic and the heads are hydrophilic. Now, let me again explain you what I have to explain you, the structure of the cell membrane and why it is called as the fluid mosaic model is the most supported model that best describes the structure of the cell membrane. The word fluid means what? Means water, right? Liquid. Mosaic. What does the word mosaic means? Mosaic means something which is a combination of two or three or more things. And model is here that which describes the structure of the cell membrane. Now, since you can see that the cell membrane is actually what? It is in favor of the fluid mosaic model. What do you mean by the fluid mosaic model is that since we know that the life processes are performed in water mediums, the cell membranes are also exposed to water, but the cell membrane, it is made up of what? It is made up of different kinds of components like phospholipid bilayer. We have got different kinds of proteins, whether it is the peripheral protein or the integral protein. We also have cholesterol and we have got carbohydrates. It means that the cell membrane is a semi-fluid structure. Why semi-fluid? I told you about the presence of cholesterol. What is the function of cholesterol? The most important component of the cell membrane after the phospholipid is the cholesterol, because it maintains the fluidity of the cell membrane, right? Until and unless the cell membrane is fluid in nature, the proteins and other substances will not be able to float or move across laterally. So the lateral movement of proteins inside, you know that the cell membrane is semi-fluid in nature. It is not like it is a solid structure. No, how will then movement or transportation of substances occur? If the cell membrane is simply solid, do you think that the transportation of ions or substances or molecules can take place? No, it cannot take place. So the cell membrane has got to be a semi-fluid or quasi-fluid structure which allows the lateral movement of proteins and the movement of other ions or particles, and it is the cholesterol that provides the fluidity to the cell membranes and allows the lateral movement of proteins. Okay, so the cholesterol is one of the most important components of the plasma membrane or the cell membrane, right? So we see that the fluid mosaic model is the most justified model when we look at the structure of the cell membrane, because fluid means that the cell membrane is actually a semi-fluid or quasi-fluid structure which consists of several components like phospholipid bilayer, cholesterol, proteins, carbohydrates, etc. And this cholesterol is also very important here because it allows the fluidity of the membrane and it allows the lateral movement of proteins. So we say that yes, the fluid mosaic model given by the two scientists Singer and Nicholson is the most justified model that best describes the structure of the cell membrane. I hope the topic is clear to you. Keep on logging into or visit the page Wonder Biology for more biology.